Hi everyone, I'm Fabi and today I'm going to show you how to make a super cute and super simple cropped crochet top. This top was inspired by a photo that I saw on Pinterest. It was a runway photo from a designer from the 90s called Gaetano Navarro, and I saw this whole outfit and I was like, I need to make this. And after I made it, I posted it on Instagram and TikTok, and I was really amazed by how many of you were interested in learning how to make this. It is definitely a beginner-friendly top. However, if you've never made anything before, I do suggest that you look at some tutorials, which I'm going to link below, on how to do the basic crochet stitches. All right, so let's get started.
You will need yarn, scissors, a 4.5 or 5mm crochet hook, stitch markers, but paper clips or safety pins also work, a tapestry needle, and 1mm round elastic. I used about 2 of these 24/7 cotton yarn by Lion Brand, but anything similar should work just fine. You're also going to need a tape measure to measure around your high bust, just like this. Mine was about 32 inches. Start by creating a slip knot, then insert your hook in the knot you just made and tighten the yarn around the hook. And now we're going to chain 10 to begin the bottom ribbing of the crop top. Now that we have 10 chains, we will begin doing single crochets all the way down, starting from the second chain from the hook. Now yarn over and pull through 1 loop, yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Now you have your first single crochet. Continue this way all the way down until you have 9 single crochets. Once you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work, and now you're going to do 9 single crochets on back loops only. After inserting the hook in the first back loop, you will do a single crochet as you normally would. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Continue doing this all the way to the end. That last loop can easily be missed, so make sure to count that 9th stitch. Repeat the same thing on the next row. Chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet on back loops only. Now you just have to continue adding rows this way until the entire ribbing measures the same measurement that you took earlier with the tape measure. Mine was a total of 32 inches, or 108 rows. The bottom ribbing is all done now, so let's move on to the main part of the top. So right where you left off, at the end of your ribbing, you're going to chain 1, and now you're going to single crochet all the way down. The difference is that this time you will not be doing single crochets on back loops only. You will be going through both loops. It can also be a little tricky to know where to insert your hook since the stitches are not very clear here, but just figure it out as you go. It's alright, it'll all work out. Just make sure to insert the hook where you can and make single crochets all the way down to the end of the ribbing. The next row will be a lot easier. When you get to the end, you will chain 1, turn your work, and do single crochets all the way down until the last single crochet. Remember that this time you're going through both loops, not just back loops. Continue doing the same thing until you have a total of 30 rows. I did 30 rows, but you can also add a few more if you want a little bit more coverage or if you have a larger bust. Now we're ready to start working on the top ribbing. When you get to the end of your last row, chain 7. Now start working single crochets from the second chain from hook all the way down. You should have a total of 6 single crochets. Now you're going to slip stitch at the bottom and do another slip stitch on the next stitch over. Turn your work and do 6 single crochets on back loops only. Make sure to count them because it's very easy to lose track here. You want to count them from left to right. And when you get to the end, it should be looking like this. Chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to continue doing single crochets on back loops only. Once again, slip stitch right at the bottom and on the next one over. Continue doing this all the way down. I'm at the end of my ribbing here, and again, I'm making sure to count. Before we secure the end, we have to cut our working yarn. Cut at about 30 inches. Make sure it's really long because we're actually going to weave this in to the top to join both sides. You'll see what I mean in just a second. To fasten it off and make sure that it's nice and secure, yarn over and pull that yarn that you just cut all the way in. Then pull nice and tight to secure it. Now this is the fun part when your top starts coming together. We're actually going to join the seams. You're going to take that tapestry needle and thread with the yarn that you cut off at the end. Make sure that your stitches are lined up. To join my seams, I did a sort of ladder stitch, as you can see here. But you can actually also join your seams by doing slip stitches or single crochets.
Fasten off by doing a few knots and cut off the end. We're going to weave in all these little bits later. We're nearing the end. You just need to work in the halter straps now, and you're going to need to pull out your stitch markers for this. Mark the center front of your top by folding it in half and placing a stitch marker there. Let's take our measuring tape and measure 2.5 inches from the center front to each side. We're going to place stitch markers here as well. This marks the placement for your straps. Because we want the straps to crisscross, we're going to use a combination of single crochet and double crochet. Start by inserting your hook where you placed the first stitch marker and chain 2. Turn your work, and now we're going to do 2 single crochets. Chain 1 and now do 3 double crochets. Chain 2, turn your work, and now do 3 double crochets on top of the 3 double crochets you already made and 2 single crochets on top of the single crochets you already made. You can see how it's creating this sort of angle, which is going to allow our straps to lay flat as they crisscross. Chain 1, turn your work, and now again we're going to do 2 single crochets on top of the 2 single crochets you already made, and then 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and now we're doing our double crochets. We're going to repeat this one more time. Now chain 2, turn your work, and now we're just going to work double crochets. You'll have 5 double crochet in each row and do a total of 50 rows.
When you get to the last row, you can either leave it as is and just fasten it off, or you can create a tapered angle like this. I tapered the end the same way that we started creating an angle with the strap, which was by creating 3 double crochets and then 2 single crochets. I did this for a couple of rows. It's not necessary at all, but I think it looks kind of cute. Repeat this process to create the other strap. Just make sure to do it the opposite way, where you have 3 double crochets towards the outside and the 2 single crochets towards the inside of the top. Finish the second strap the same way you did the first one. Now with our tapestry needle, we're going to weave in all these little loose bits so that we can secure them all and make sure that they're nice and hidden. We're at the last step, we're almost done. This is the part where you weave an elastic around the ribbing. It's completely optional, but I actually think it makes a huge difference in making sure the top keeps its shape throughout the day. Measure your elastic by tying it around your body in the places where the ribbing of the top would be, and make sure it's nice and snug but not too tight. You want to make sure that it will sit on your body nicely and not be too uncomfortable. We're going to weave it in with your tapestry needle. Make sure that the ends don't fall out though. As you can see, the elastic will not be visible on the outside of the top at all. Once the 2 ends of the elastic meet, tie 2 knots to secure it and weave the 2 ends into the top to hide them. Do the same thing on the other 3 edges of the ribbing and you're done.
Alright guys, that was it. I hope that the instructions were clear. If they were not, however, please leave your questions in the comments below. This was my very first time filming a crochet tutorial, so I don't think I have the right equipment yet, but I will improve if you guys are into it. And finally, if you do make this top, I would love to see your creations, so please make sure to tag me on Instagram. That way I can take a look at your makes and also share them with everybody else.